Welcome back to Enlighten Crypto, helping you stay zen in the crazy, crazy world of crypto. Today, got a really exciting video for you. Going to be looking at how this bull run is different to 2017 and discuss whether we're actually in a kind of super cycle now rather than the usual 4-year bull and bear market cycle. So let's get into the video. Guys, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Got lots of fantastic content coming up, helping all you beginners out there. And also going into different discussions like this one today about different cycles, what's going on outside of crypto, which could be affecting it and whatnot. Important notice to start, as always, I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So to start with, let's just have a little look at the history of other bull runs. We got 2013-14. I think we topped out about $1,000 down there. And then the last bull run, 2017-2018, topped out around 20K. And as you can see, it wasn't really a gradual movement up to there. It kind of spiked very quickly within a 6-month time frame, especially towards the end with that huge blow off top. So that's how it's historically played out, and these were heavily led by retail investors, which simply means, people like you and me, rather than huge corporations or governments or banks or whatever, most of which still aren't in the party now. And then this is a slightly old graph going back to January when we just went past 30K. We're obviously up to, now we're in March, we're up to about 57K today. And like I say, today we're going to discuss why this bull run might be different to the ones of the past and why it could even potentially just keep going rather than having a bear market. And again, just look at the price history. So the top of 2011, $31, 2013, $1,153, and 2017, $20,000, just over $20,000. And you can see across the top, the multiplier from the previous top. So we did 37x from the previous high in 2013 and a 17x off the previous high in 2017. So we're going to kind of be looking at where we could be heading for the top of this year. Obviously, we're kind of halfway through this bull cycle, it seems, and there's a lot of speculation as to where we might go. So now let's look at reasons why this year is different. And the first one, absolutely huge, especially last year, 2020, the world got spun on its head with the whole COVID and all the lockdowns that ensued and that are still going on now. So what is the knock-on effect of that to the crypto world? So there's been a lot of talk about moving more towards digital money. Some supermarkets and shops have completely banned cash, which I think it's kind of been planned for a while. And crypto is obviously a digital financial system. So it kind of plays into the hands of crypto. Secondly, there's become more of a lack of trust for centralized entities. There seems to be a huge lack of trust in authorities such as banks, governments, etc. over the last year from a lot of the things that have been going on. So that's something that has obviously played into the hands of crypto, which you see as an alternative to centralized banking and more of the people's money, decentralized version of the financial system. There's more time for people to research crypto and invest in general. This has definitely been a big thing for me and how I got full time into the space. I got put on furlough, so I had more time to research crypto and invest in. And then when I finally lost my job, I've just gone full time into crypto. I'm absolutely loving it. But I think this has been the same for a lot of people. You can't really go out on a weekend or on a weeknight. So you got more time to kind of look into these sort of things, which there's a lot of benefits to, of course. And another point, there's probably a load more, but another point is or the money printing that we've seen over the last year, which causes a lot of inflation, which I've talked about on previous videos. So around 35% of all the US dollars ever created has been printed in the last 12 months in reaction to the lockdowns. We did not have this level of printing in the 2017 and 18 bull run. So again, this is a major difference and something that really, really affects crypto. The more they print, the less valuable the currency becomes because there's more of a supply. So naturally, people and corporations are going to be looking for a hedge against that inflation. They're going to be looking at assets like Bitcoin that have a fixed supply. You know, someone can't just suddenly print a load more Bitcoins and it's kind of, you know, impossible. It's built into the system that there's this set amount of coins coming into circulation all the time. And it is deflationary in a way because that supply gets less and less over the years. So this is one of the big reasons I think it's become so popular over the last year. We've got all this inflation. Companies, people, they don't want to keep the money in the bank where it's just decreasing in value. And they're looking for different options. And this printing isn't necessarily to help people. I know it's advertised like that. And people do need stimulus to buy food and whatnot. But most of this stimulus goes back to the government, as Anthony Pompliano, a great crypto investor and expert in the field, he tweeted, Congress just approved a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. This was the other day, by the way. It sends more money to local and state governments than to the people who actually need it. The government is bailing out the government. So the knock-on effect for this is it's not really good for people who can't afford assets because yes, they've got the money, they can buy food and their essentials and all that. But because there's such an amount being printed and they're getting such a minimal amount of it, as you can see on the left, the prices of food is shooting up and other things, and their income is becoming worth less and less. So it's making it more difficult for people in a sense as well. So yeah, assets will naturally rise as inflation does, things like property, stocks, crypto. So yeah, sticking with the intention of this video, and crypto could be seen as a positive. Another big reason I think that the 2021 bull market is different to 2017 is mainstream adoption. We've seen so many more people flooding into the space. And there's loads of statistics showing you just how many people are flooding in week after week at the moment. An example of this is blockchain.com wallets here on the left. You can see 2017, about 15, 20 million people had wallets with them. And then now it'll be well over 70 million. I think this chart goes towards the end of 2020. And we're seeing this across the board with all wallets. There's just way more people coming in. And this is shown in the market cap. So at the very top, 2017, $800 billion for Bitcoin, for the whole crypto market even. And in 2021, we're now up to 1.75 trillion and counting. So as you can see, that market cap could easily get to, 5, 10, even 10 trillion. Some people are saying this year. I think maybe, 4 or 5. So we've obviously expanded at a vast rate since then. A lot of developing economies are getting involved, and now in Africa, there's a lot of projects being set up to try and help them involved in the space, which is obviously a huge population, and other developing economies. And it's also, a lot easier to make payments now with services such as PayPal. I know in America you can buy certain things with crypto on Amazon. MasterCard are making it available on their system, so you can pay with crypto using their card. And another little thing, I was buying something on Lush, which is basically, a website that sells things like bath bombs. So I bought one for my girlfriend for Christmas. And it was really interesting, so I went to check out and it said pay with Bitcoin. So, this is happening all over the place now. which is exciting to see. It's a much bigger workforce. You know, there's loads of people working in blockchain and crypto at the moment. It's actually the most sought after skill in 2020 on LinkedIn, as you can see on the left, #1 blockchain. And yeah, there's an abundance of remote roles. You can work from anywhere in the world. So if you are interested, check out Overland Tech Academy. I study, in the academy myself, and I'm learning lots from there. And it's great fun as well. Another big difference I'm noticing is the technological advances. So whereas 2017 was very, very speculative, and it still is to a certain extent, there's now projects that you can actually see use cases for, things like VeChain and a whole kind of supply network. Bitcoin, you can see even more its use case for the inflation and having that fixed supply. Projects like Theta that are just revolutionizing the whole video streaming space. So we've got projects with actual solid use cases rather than purely speculative assets, and assets that are being used as well, as I mentioned in the previous slide. There's better technology innovated, obviously, over time. This is going to happen. As I said, there's lots of people working in the space now, and there's constantly more and more innovation. You know, the best ever crypto coin probably hasn't been invented yet. So that's exciting too. The public has a better understanding of the technology and it's used much more rather than just investing. So people are actually sending each other crypto instead of money. I know I've done this with friends. People are paying for things with crypto. So it's actually been used a lot more now rather than, like I say, more speculation. And there's a lot more easier access to buy crypto and access services. So here, just put an example of crypto.com app. I mean, it's so easy to buy crypto on there. Anyone can do it. And the more people are educated and the more these apps become user-friendly, they already are very user-friendly, the more people will be able to come into this space. I know, you know, 5-10 years ago, it was very difficult to kind of work out how to withdraw and deposit your crypto. People had to store it on a hardware device or have a separate IP address just to access it. So yeah, we've seen that come on leaps and bounds in recent years. Partnerships, so we're seeing blue chip companies getting involved in crypto. Samsung and Microsoft seem to have a whole range of partnerships I've noticed across the board, including Theta, which we talked about. And these partnerships are huge for marketing, finance, the technical expertise and the people that they can bring across, tech geniuses, if you like, and a whole lot more benefits to these partnerships. Gives a lot more credibility to the space as well, which is always good. You know, crypto has always been seen as this kind of, you know, very out there, risky investment. But when you've got companies like, I mentioned PayPal, you know, Samsung, Microsoft coming in, these are trusted brands. So like I say, it gives a lot more credibility to the space. And some of these companies are also investing in the space at the same time, such as Tesla. So many of you would have seen that in the news recently, that Elon Musk decided to put 1.5 billion of Tesla's reserves into Bitcoin. Very wise, I believe. And PayPal, the same, which is a smart move because they've obviously built it into their app. They're making it easier for people to buy and sell crypto and trade it with each other and then invest in it themselves to kind of back that. BlackRock have started getting involved. I think they have about $8 trillion under management. So that's huge news. And like I say, they've only just started, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. ETFs. One got launched in Canada recently, a Bitcoin ETF, which makes it a lot easier for, you know, big companies to get in to Bitcoin without having to actually do all the technical side and taking the risks on that front. which I know a lot of those sort of companies are. Grayscale have been a huge investor into crypto, and their portfolio seems to be growing every week. And then MicroStrategy, led up by Michael Saylor, another huge institutional investment company, and pumping loads into Bitcoin. And I like what he's done because he's held conferences, one really big conference, recently, where they had hundreds of these huge companies there, and he was teaching them all about the blockchain, all about crypto, and why they should think about moving some of their cash into crypto. And that money's slowly started coming in as well in recent weeks. I think it was only about a month ago, at conference, month or so. So yeah, Michael Saylor himself, as I said, he's held a conference teaching the biggest companies about Bitcoin and crypto. It does have the potential for earlier retirement and opportunity to set up your children and your grandchildren, I believe, which I'm going to show you a little clip of Michael Saylor talking about his future price prediction in a sec. You could also get completely wrecked. So having a balance is vital, just making sure you put in what you can afford to lose. Again, not financial advice, just my kind of opinion on it. And yeah, I'm just going to play a short little clip where he talks about where he sees the future of Bitcoin going forward. And it just shows why people should be looking long term at this rather than trying to make a quick buck in this particular bull run. And I'm also going to leave a link down below for the full clip.
I tell you, over the long term, I expect it to flip gold, and that takes it to 500,000. And I expect it to march progressively toward $100 trillion market cap, which is the value of all of the treasury assets, or at least a decent order of magnitude of the treasury assets in the world. And Bitcoin is the ideal treasury asset network, so it should march toward that with a degree of progression.
Pretty good ease. And that would be $5 million Bitcoin.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, I've left the link down below if you want to watch the full video of him talking about Bitcoin. He's such an intelligent guy. You have to be in charge of the billions and billions and billions of dollars that he is at MicroStrategy. So if you want some of that wisdom, check out that link below. So one argument that Lark and other people have made, this is Crypto Lark on the left, is that Bitcoin could be entering into a 10-year bull run, 10-year bull cycle, rather than the usual 4-year. So yeah, will we not see a typical cycle this time? Again, I'll leave a link to this full video below. I'm just going to kind of summarize it a little bit in here. So, like I say, it's comparing the 4-year theory versus what's known as a market maturity theory. And that looks a little bit like this. So on the left, this is the chart of Apple, and other tech stocks all look very similar to this. So, you know, your Googles and whatnot as well. And what he's done is shown where crypto is, where he sees crypto as being in this life cycle. So as you can see, tech stocks were up and down, probably something very similar. It was a bit speculative, like the internet, is it really going to take off? Are computers really the future? And now every single one of us has got one, and everyone's watching this on a device of some kind. And you can see that with crypto. At the moment, it's still a bit like, not sure if it's going to take over. But we could be sitting here in 10, 20 years where literally most of the financial system is cryptocurrency rather than what we use now. So yeah, is crypto maturing similarly? This would mean we'd lose this volatility, similar to Apple on the left. You see up, down, and we kind of have this steady increase over, when did this start? About 16, 17 years ago. So yeah, maybe even longer than 10 years, but we just have this steady increase, people coming into the space, more money coming into the space as it becomes more and more trusted and more adopted. So yeah, this is a very exciting time. And both theories, the four-year theory and the market maturation theory, both suggest a bullish long term for crypto. It's hard to see a bearish scenario playing out at the moment over the long term. I can't really see what's stopping technology, especially as this inflation just doesn't seem to stop, and this constant money printing by governments around the globe. To conclude, just thought I'd give my opinion. I see as having a 4-year cycle, as always, but I think there'll be a more subtle bear market. So normally, we can drop about 80% in a bear market off the back end of the top. I think because of all the institutional money, we won't drop that dramatically. Maybe we'll come down 50%, but I don't think any more than that, because there's a different mentality between corporations and retail investors. Often retail investors are trying to make some quick money, their emotions get in the way, they panic, whereas corporations, they're used to investing, they're used to ups and downs, and they've usually got a much more long-term vision. And that's how I'd suggest looking at it and how I'm trying to look at it. And then I see in the next bull run, 2025, I think we'll have a lot more stability, and I do see something similar playing out from then onwards to what Lark suggested, the kind of market maturation. But I think we will have a similar cycle this time around, maybe the last one, but who knows, just my opinion. I think we can definitely reach $200,000 plus Bitcoin this year. It's possible. I think we'll do at least 100 personally. And again, obviously, take out your initial investment if that does happen, maybe a bit more, take some profits. But I will personally be looking long term, because we could well be at $1 million plus in 10 years. And there's no reason why, as Michael Saylor said, that one day it might be $5 million Bitcoin per coin, which sounds crazy. If you watch that full video of his, he'll explain how and why that is definitely possible. And he's a lot smarter than me. So yeah, and with the altcoins as well, I'm investing in alts with long-term potential. So like I say, things with really good use cases like Theta, things that you can build a whole ecosystem around like Cardano, Polkadot, Ethereum, things that you can see sticking around. It's all right having a little go at some of the altcoins and taking profits into Bitcoin and Ethereum, the bigger projects as you go for stability. But long term is where I feel the goal should be, especially, if you're like me, you've got a long future ahead of you. Why try and rush in and rush out and try and make some quick money when the long haul could be so much more beneficial? And also, it's not just about the money, it's about adopting this new way of money. That is why a big reason I got into crypto is the whole revolution behind it and making money work for people, not just the banks. And lastly, just wanted to talk about my community, Enlighten Crypto. It's got 3 different membership options, and this is mainly involves articles and videos like this. I send out an article about once every week, covering all sorts of subjects, and every month I do an undervalued altcoin section where I tell you which coins I think will be the biggest gainers of the month and which ones are at what I feel a low price at the moment. It's also a Telegram group, so it's very sociable between the family in there. If you get the middle option and up, you get portfolio support, so you get a full report. They update every quarter, telling you all the details about individual projects and teach you how to build a portfolio. And if you have full membership, you also get a monthly Zoom call and a meditation, because I'm a certified meditation teacher as well. So thanks for listening, guys. If you've got any questions or any comments, please drop them down below. Love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you disagree with me. It's absolutely fine. And yeah, guys, peace out till next time.